I would like to break down some of my earliest artwork in the realm of expressing myself through filmmaking. So yeah, here is the first short film that I ever made, titled No Catharsis. So I shot and edited this video back on like a random night in January in 2023. I remember I got like super hyper focused on setting everything up, and I spent like 8 hours straight just setting up and shooting, and like I accidentally didn't text my girlfriend for the whole night. And I remember after like being up like the whole night and I finally finished it, the first people that I sent it to were my parents. And then like later that day, my mom had posted it on Facebook, and I had no idea she was gonna post it, and I like flipped out on her. Hey Mom, remember that one time you posted my first ever short film on Facebook for all like my teachers and stuff to see, and it embarrassed the hell out of me?
Hardly.
I was just super embarrassed for some reason. So yeah, like I said, I shot this in January, so Christmas had just passed, and for Christmas that year I had gotten this little motorized camera slider type of thing, which was really important in making this short film. It sort of let me play with angles in a way I'd never considered before, and even though it was like 2.5 years ago, I'm really happy with how some of these shots turned out today, including this one right here. I think this just looks really cool. And for shots of myself that I was having a hard time getting or I kind of needed help with, my sister actually lent a hand and helped out with some of the camera work.
Okay, it's done.
How'd that look?
It could have gone over just a little bit, but I think it looks good.
For the next shot, let's take it outside. I'm someone, I would say I'm really easily inspired. Like for some reason, like everything all around me, it's just really intriguing to me, and I ask like 100 questions about everything. And eventually that curiosity and that interest in things around me, specifically art, ends up leaking its way into my art. Let's cut back to 2022, a little movie called The Batman came out. And to say that this movie inspired me would probably be an understatement. I went through a heavy Batman phase to the amusement of my friends. I even dressed like Pattinson's Batman for Halloween that year. And if you've ever watched that movie, which I highly recommend, it's just like very at night, street lamps, the rain. It has a vibe that really entices me. So when it came time for me to make something of my own, I was immediately like, yeah, that. To be honest, I really do love this composition. I like the texture of the light spill in the street, paired with the mysterious windows far behind me. It's very nice. You always, like to this day, you will say, every single time I show you anything I've made, 2.5 years later, you always just compare it to No Catharsis. You compare it, and you're like, you're just like, oh, it was way better. Like, you just said, like, oh, no, I still love just that first thing you made. I'm just like, dude.
But I do think maybe the reason why I always bring it back to that is because, you know, I constantly tell you that I was so moved by that piece. And nothing that you've created thus far has moved me quite as hard.
So speaking of films that are kind of like at night with street lamps that really inspired me, let's talk about American Psycho. The visuals of that movie have inspired me throughout my entire process of like making short films and experimenting with cinematography. And that inspiration from American Psycho traces all the way back to No Catharsis, which is abundantly clear when I begin to recite one of Patrick Bateman's monologues.
My pain is constant and sharp, and I do not hope for a better world for anyone.
Something that I tell people a lot, to people I share my films with, is I'm really just testing ideas. So in my head, I saw the vibes, I saw the lamps and the journaling, but I didn't know exactly what about, and I didn't have a clear enough vision to write that monologue yet, so I just used one that I thought fit. And I do think it fits.
I remember that night too, because you ended up leaving the house. I think it was like midnight. And I was like, where are you going? You're like, I have a shot.
Yeah, I didn't really plan anything for this at all, actually. And that is a consistent theme throughout my work, like not really planning or not really making a shot list, or it's just sort of an idea that just comes to me and then it's just on the fly. I'll grab my stuff and just go kind of express myself in any given moment. And I will be transparent with you, like I don't personally think that this is like a super amazing piece of art that I made or even a good piece of art, but I do think there is a lot of value in it for me personally, solely based on what it taught me and how I've expanded on that foundation that I've laid.
And I assumed it was gonna be something goofy, and I just kind of let it go. But when you showed it to me, it had such depth, and it was really, honestly, and probably this nostalgia is what has me, so connected to it. It was really the first time that I saw you as an artist.
And yeah, maybe she's right. Maybe there is just some weird emotional layer to it. But yeah, thank you for watching this breakdown. I really do appreciate it. I hope maybe some of this was insightful, and here is No Catharsis.
My pain is constant and sharp, and I do not hope for a better world for anyone. In fact, I want my pain to be inflicted on others. I want no one to escape. But even after admitting this, there is no catharsis. My punishment continues to elude me. And I gain no deeper knowledge of myself.